All right, Adam, good morning. Leanne, good morning. Joelle, good morning. Angelica, Nisar, good morning. Aya, good morning. Jerry,
Morning.
right. Is that Claire? Do I see Claire in the car? All right. Good morning, Claire. Woohoo! You guys are on route to some adventure, whatever that adventure could be.
Back from the
That's
gym.
awesome.
Back home. Going back home now. We were at the gym.
Yeah, was it leg day? Would you crush?
I just did some cardio because I didn't even want to be there. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get there and start moving.
It's awesome. Ooh, Joelle. Oh, we've got some power going on this morning. Right? Even if you don't want to go, you put the shoes on anyway. Even if you put the shoes on, you don't want to go to the gym, you go there anyway. I'm here and
Yeah,
now I'm pissed, but I guess I'll do something.
exactly. I've been listening to Conversations of God. That's what I was doing while I was on the treadmill and then a little bit on the bike.
What is where you're at with that? What was the chapter today, or what did you hear today?
I think it was on chapter eight. Well, right after chapter eight, it was they got into like relationships, and the purpose of being here. It's a very fascinating book. I
Yeah,
found myself reading some chapters.
yeah,
And the audio,
that's
thank you for the recommendation. The audio is definitely the way to go because of the different voices, the female and the male.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I love that you're reading that. I almost want to start like a little mini. I don't know if it's not a book club, but like maybe another group to just chat about that specifically. That's like been a really crazy book for me. In a good way, right? It blends like what I was taught as a kid, but also blends like the spirituality aspect, blends kind of like, I don't know, it's really cool.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's kind of get some perspectives to the journey that we're on and that stuff we've been through and stuff we're going through and that we're gonna go through. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. I love that. Was it a good decision to go to the gym this morning?
It was actually because it put me in a better mood.
It does. It tends to do that, doesn't
It
it?
'cause I just want.
Yeah. Well, everyone, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Those of you who are joining, I appreciate you so much for jumping in with me here this morning as we start our week with some power, with some grace. So let's lean in, and I know there's a couple people who are going through it as usual in a good way. I went through something this weekend too, which was a little difficult for me, but it's not. There's other people going through more difficult things. So let's just do what we usually do. We'll start. Just breathe in some gratitude. Gratitude for what's happening for you in your life right now, and gratitude for being able to wake up this morning, gratitude for being able to feel your body and move and go to a gym or to wake up and have some coffee. Taste buds, gratitude for taste buds, gratitude for the air on our face, the sunshine that's out today. We start with gratitude. It's the portal to everything, all being a divine creator, moving into that space, all happening for you, looking and finding the ways everything is happening for you this morning. And once we have that feeling of gratitude, once we really understand that everything is happening for us, we get to create it. It comes from thought into word or action. We speak it into the universe. We write it in a journal. We type it into the chat. And that is how we are divine creators immediately this morning. So, for those who are ready, feel free to type it into the chat. What are three things that gave you love, joy, gratitude, or appreciation over the past week or weekend? What's one way your life is happening for you want to share? And also, if you have anything to just let go of and release, this is your safe space. We appreciate and accept it all. A pain shared is a pain divided. So, whatever you need to just let go of, we are here in community for the next 10 minutes or so. We'd love to hear it. Adam, you were the first to unmute, my friend. It was good to see you, dude.
How are you?
Yeah. How are you? Anything you want to share with us today?
So I'll keep it short, but as some of you know, I've been going through and dealing with the loss of my mom and all the rest of that. We had last week, we had the services midweek, Tuesday, I believe, and it was surprising. And this is a little bit of a story. So we had the visitation on Monday evening, and then the services on Tuesday, and my second daughter, Annabelle, was home before we were going to the wake and all the rest of that. And surprisingly enough, I was turning around and I'm like, you know what? Like she dealt with Alzheimer's, so we had that long goodbye type of situation going on. And I'm like, surprisingly enough, I'm like, I'm at peace with all this. I'm looking forward to the wake, which sounds strange to a lot of people, but I'm like, I'm the type of person that I'm very extroverted. I'm energized by people and, being there and being able to talk to people I haven't seen and stories and just stuff like that. I was actually going into the wake and, excited about it, which is an odd situation. Um, and then we had the services on Tuesday, and right up until probably the we actually ended up finding a minister that was great through the mom was religious but not practicing. So we found a minister that everybody kind of connected with, and it was great. And she did the performance, the ceremony, and then opened it up. And right up until the ceremony, I was sitting there debating: Am I going to say something? Am I not going to say something? I was kind of going back and forth with that, and then I wrote the obituary. Um, that a lot of people were like, you know, this was great, this was perfect, and so I felt as though that I kind of had my chance to speak written, if that made sense. And then my brother got up and spoke, and he spoke of a story that when my grandmother passed away, let's say 15 years ago, actually might even been more than that now. My mom always said when she used to go over to continue to help her dad around the house, do chores, do this, there shortly after my grandmother passed, there was a cardinal that showed up and they would sit on the window and she was there. And let's be honest, most of us thought she was crazy. Um, so the day after or 2 days after my mom passed, there was a cardinal that showed up at my sister's work, had never been there, was sitting on the windowsill. There's no food around, there's no feeder, there's no reason for it to be there, other than to kind of communicate that, you know what, hey, I'm okay and things are going well. So that was just a little, and my brother told that story, which arguably got us all kind of teared up a little bit. And then
Yeah.
the last bit, and I'll let someone else go, is my aunt that we have become closer with, my family, my extended family has become closer with late in life, had a hip replacement, so she couldn't be there for the service, which she would have been. So her sister lives locally, so she sent her sister to read something that she had written up. And we had 300 and some odd photos playing on a loop, kind of a slideshow. Well, as soon as she started speaking about my aunt and our trips, we used to do a yearly trip up to their lake house and spend time with them. That's how we got so close. Um, all of the photos that were from that period of time started playing. Like she started talking about my mom and my aunt, and there's a photo of her and my aunt literally standing at the kitchen sink in their living room, and then a big giant photo of all of us when we were up there. So it was a sign to me to some extent that things aren't completely just random. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was my last week's experience.
Adam, thank you for sharing. A sign. What do you think of Cardinals now? Like still coincidence or what do you think?
It's I believe a whole lot less in coincidences, just in general, since when that story was originally told, I think we were in high school or college time age and weren't weren't thinking the same way that weren't as mature and self-reflective, I guess would be a good way to say it. So
Yeah. Yeah. There's a really special YouTube video that I saw. If I can find it again, I'll share it with the group.
sure.
But it's these three older women, and their mom had just passed. Some of you might have seen this, and the mom even said, "I'm going to come back as a cardinal." And then, of course, the cardinal comes in about a week after she passes. It lands on one of their hands. They have it all on video, and then they try to like ease it off gently. It's okay. You can. And the cardinal won't leave. It just keeps like staying with them while they're trying to brush it off and all these things. And it's like they're all crying. It's this really, really special moment. And um, after I saw that, I mean, I no longer believe there are really any coincidences ever anymore. So it's pretty special. She's making sure you guys are good, Adam. She's good. You know that already. I love that. Oh,
I was happy enough to be able to, you know what? Not everything went perfectly with what I could do along the way for a number of different reasons, but I was able to be there at the end. Work was, I sat with her almost every day for the last, 5 days before she passed. Maybe it was a week. So I was able to come to grips with, what I did and what I could do for her. So
and it was more than enough. Amazing. Adam, what a fucking beautiful share. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For those of you with mothers that are still here, mothers that have passed, shoot them a quick note. They're all still here. Every bit of their energy is still around. They leave a piece of their energy back here to make sure that everyone here is always supported for a fact. Thank you for sharing. Is there anyone else who wants to share this morning? That was a beautiful share. Christina, you know, is that a no? You don't have to. Oh, you're still muted.
There we go. It wasn't letting me unmute.
hey guys,
There you
I'm
go.
sorry. I have to actually cut it short. I have to leave. I have to go pick up my daughter. Sorry.
Have a great one, Adam. You're good, buddy.
I'm just struggling this whole thing with my ex-husband, and I had to bring the boys to him yesterday for Easter, which is fine. But on the way, Blake was like so mad. And I'm like, why are you mad? Like, what's going on, bud? And he didn't want to talk about it. And then eventually he did. And he's like, you stole a day from dad, and this is all your fault. And he has to pay you every month. And now he can't buy food, which is not true, like, at all. And I'm just like, how did I get to be like the bad guy in a situation that I didn't even ask for? And it's just like I feel like I'm losing my kids.
Yeah.
Like, all due to lies that he wants to tell them. And like, this isn't stuff that a 6 and 8-year-old would just say. So somebody's saying it to them. And it certainly isn't me. And I said to him, I'm not a bad guy. And that got twisted into me saying that their dad was the bad guy, which is not what I was saying at all. Like, I'm so careful with my words to make sure that I don't say anything negative about him. And I'm just so like over this whole thing. Like, what's even the point? So I didn't go to my family's for Easter. I dropped the boys off and I came home and I went to bed.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating because he just does whatever he wants with no repercussions. And I'm trying to tippy-toe around everything and do it all right. But it's like, for what? Because it doesn't matter, clearly.
I think I shared with you. Yeah, I think I shared with you, Christina. My kids were 6 and 8, and my my 8-year-old would say certain things, but they're 7 and 9. The 7-year-old said, right at about 9 o'clock, when putting him to bed and everything's happy and we're doing prayers, right? And then all of a sudden why did you leave mom and break up the family? Why did you make our lives like this? Is that 9 p.m., right? And thank God I've been doing this work, because every piece of the little boy in me was screaming, you have no idea what your dad tried to do. You have no idea what your mother like did that made this all happen. Like, you have no idea how much I have fought. And like, you have no, like, really, really, right? Like, the little kid screams, and the overwhelming feeling and lesson that I'm still feeling it now, but there's a safety that we can give our kids by doing this inner work on ourselves, by literally just being a place to hold their emotion, knowing that none of this will matter when they're 30, 32, 33 years old. They're going to go to the parent, they're going to open up to the safe parent that doesn't give their emotion to the kids to carry. So yes, they're hearing a rhetoric, they're hearing a narrative, they're hearing a story from someone else. And what they're doing is they're taking that and they're testing. They're testing safety. They're testing what it's like. Am I going to be in dad's rhetoric today, or am I going to be in mom's rhetoric? Which one's stronger? Which one's the one I want to believe today? And all you can do, which is what I've learned, is, buddy, I am so sorry that you feel that way. And how can I show you that I love you more in this moment? Like, what do you need? What would you like to hear? Or nothing at all, right? You just hold them. You let them be angry. You let them fight. You let them push. I love you. I love you. I love you. Someday we can have, you'll understand. Someday we'll have this conversation. I love you. Let me know anything you want me to share. It's a lesson, Christina. It's a big one. And I mean, I'm 3 or 4 years in from that. And it's very, very apparent, right? That safety, the emotional safety. Now I'm getting a lot more of them just telling me anything because they know I can hold it. And there's no narrative.
It's so
Yeah.
hard to be the one that has to like hold it all though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Fortunately and unfortunately, you're the more advanced soul here, and it's being asked of you, and this is your growth. Yeah. These kids
I
have a
definitely
very, very
blew up
special
a little
bond.
bit. I'm like, it's like fucking enough is enough. Like enough is enough. I'm just at my breaking point. And we have co-parenting counseling at 10 that he's just gonna lie his way through.
Yeah. Yeah. Hate to say it, right? But if this was an easy process, really wouldn't be worth it. At least for your soul growth.
It's
Really
hard
shitty to say.
in this world and knowing at the same time, like none of it matters. You know what I mean? Like I know these are all tests, but I feel like I'm failing miserably.
Isn't that the ultimate test? Knowing you're failing, knowing everything's going wrong, knowing that all the decisions you're making, you feel are wrong, and yet it continues to work its way out.
Is it though? Like I haven't seen that. I just feel like I'm just gonna keep losing and losing. And then eventually one day my kids are gonna be like, I don't even want to be here. And like I'm the one that's been supporting them emotionally through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I just don't get it.
In this work, I think we would be walking you through that scenario energetically of what would that be like? What would that day feel like? And it would be a really hard exercise to go through. And then it's felt, and your soul knows that's not going to happen. Acting out of love and not fear, that's the only choice every moment you have, Christina. It's allowed to be fucking hard. You're allowed to cry, you're allowed to scream, you're allowed to be angry through it. Yes. And you are a very, very advanced soul. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you. Obviously, WhatsApp me if you need a safe space to scream and rage. That's why I'm here. Let me be that person, right? Blake and Cole said this. What the fuck? Like tell me everything. I got it. That's actually a really good segue. I have a passage today to read for anybody who. Oh, I'm in it. I'm going to help you let some of that go, Christina. Yeah. Being at 10 o'clock, all you can do is be grounded for you, right? Like center yourself best you can. Get your coffee, put on some music that they can't hear on the Zoom. Is it a Zoom or in person? That's all right. That's okay. Just take those breaths for yourself. Remind yourself of how powerful you are and know that you can fall apart afterwards. Maybe this won't go the way you think it'll go. Maybe it'll go an entirely different way. Just be open to possibilities, but remembering that you are that powerful soul in this process. And this is a challenge in a good way. I have a passage today. It's literally called The Pain of Becoming. So I'll start reading, and if this resonates with people, we'll have a conversation around it. We do ourselves a great disservice by judging where we are in comparison to some final destination. This is one of the pains of aspiring to become something. The stage of development we are in is always seen against the imagined landscape of what we are striving for. So where we are, though closer all the time, it's never quite enough. The simple rose at each moment of its slow blossoming is as open as it can be. The same is true of our lives. In each stage of our unfolding, we are stretched as possible, for the human heart is quite slow to blossom and is only seen as lacking when compared to the imagined lover or the father or the mother that we would like to become. It helps to see ourselves as flowers. If a flower were to push itself to open faster, which it can't, it would tear. Yet we humans can and often do push ourselves. Often we tear in places that no one can see. When we push ourselves to unfold faster or more deeply than is natural, we thwart ourselves, for nature takes time. And most of our problems will stem from impatience. Perhaps one of the hardest remedies to accept for our pain of becoming is that wherever we are in our path, no matter how flawed or incomplete, is a blossoming unto itself. However much we've done at the end of the day is more than enough. It is a dream becoming truth. I saw somewhere online, it was beautiful. There's only one emotion that we as humans can experience when we're becoming, when we are learning a new skill, moving towards something, in this place and wanting to get to that place. There's only one emotion that is common across every single becoming, and that is frustration. When we are frustrated, it means we are growing, no matter how angry that makes us feel and seem, but that's the truth. And I had a moment with my son this past weekend. I'll share this, right? Easter egg hunts. My kids are now 11 and 9. And this is the first year ever, Dad did not have his Easter egg planned. Dad was too busy and too focused on this stupid consignment sale and spring cleaning and getting all of their items out of their closets and, clothes and games and books. I haven't gone through their stuff since they were 3 or 4 years old because some of you know I have an issue. I have an attachment issue to things emotionally that I'm working through. And with that, I kind of felt already like a shitty father because I didn't have this Easter egg hunt planned for them. And on top of that, I got into it with my oldest. My oldest, I'm choosing and picking my battles with him. One of the battles I have not picked was I just let him, he does his own laundry, but he doesn't fold it, doesn't organize it, doesn't put it away in drawers, doesn't do any of that stuff, just leaves it in big piles. And it didn't really impact us until, he's like, Dad, I need a bunch of new shirts. And I was like, okay, why don't we first find all the shirts you have? Seems like a dumb argument, right? But and that completely sent him over the edge. No, I know where all my shirts are. I don't have any. I need you to just get me new shirts. Why is this so hard? And this, some reason, some trigger with him, like threw him over the edge on this. And some trigger in me held firm. While I'm doing my clean out, I'm doing all this stuff. And then there was a break, a connection break, because I let him have his space. I was still doing my consignment stuff. And I knew he was just sitting in there screaming, seething, angry. And I started asking myself, how am I going to bring this back to connection? How am I going to bring this back to connection? And I didn't know, and I didn't know, and I didn't know. And probably an hour went by, and I just hear him in there. He's still banging. He's still mad. And so I finally attempted to go in and to sit down on his bed, and he was not ready to talk. And I just sort of sat there and allowed myself to just be present, not really having any plan, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do. And what eventually came is, he yelled some more things at me, and I forget how it even started, but he asked a question out of frustration that led into an entirely different conversation around how, he is his brain, he is his mind. This is who I am. This is who I'm always going to be this way. I can't change. And all I did was instead of being like what I used to do and like lecture or change, like shift his conversation or whatever, I just started trying to ask questions. That's interesting. Where did you learn that? That's interesting. Where did you learn that? And I still can't even tell you guys that I had no idea what I was doing, but I know that after about 20 minutes, something was getting through with my questions. And he started asking me more questions. And then we finally got onto the topic of, as a dad, it's one of my hardest jobs to do, but how we do one thing is how we do everything. And if I can teach you a little bit of self-discipline now, even if you don't want it, your brain's going to reject it. Everything's not going to want this. But it's not about your clothes today, Cole. What this is about is your first heartbreak in a relationship. What this is about is a huge collision conversation that you're not going to want to have with either a family member or a friend or a coworker. What this is about is a debilitating medical disease that you may or may not go through. And without learning these specific skills of just self-organization, self-discipline, even if it doesn't make any sense, even if it's more efficient to just leave your clothes in big piles, my only job is to try to instill those in you. And I know that there's going to be times when it's going to make you angry, it's going to make me frustrated, but I'm doing all of this out of love. And maybe 4% of that got through. And all I can tell you is that it ended with him sitting next to me and me putting my hand on his back, giving him a squeeze. He didn't say much, and then I left. And about half hour later, all of his clothes were then sorted and put away. I don't know what it means, but we had a beautiful night of connection after that. And I still felt less than because I didn't give them their Easter experience. Maybe I gave them an experience that was meant for them. So that was a whole story for me. Thank you all for listening. Does anyone else have any takeaways from the pain of becoming passage? Did that resonate with anybody?
Nick, thank you so much for that. That was so beautiful and so important, and such a good reminder to come from a place of curiosity. Like, it's so hard sometimes we're in that moment, right? To like step outside yourself a little bit and remind yourself to like, okay, hold on. If I come from curiosity, it might land differently. And wow, thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All of us younger parents can also take notes from you, Melina, and the other moms and dads who have been doing this for a while. Thank you for that. That's cool.
Nick, I'll jump in if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Notice I'm on camera today, but I've got my hat on, so I'm safe. Actually, just a couple of things that's okay. The uniform. So Adam's story touched me, obviously, because I just lost my mom, so that really touched me because I'm getting up to getting ready to write her obituary and things like that. So I'm getting ready to step into what he's just come out of. So I really appreciate your share, Adam. And secondly, Christina, my heart goes out to you. I'm going to give you a call in a little bit. And I second Melina. That was powerful for me because, I had a blowout with my nephew. We had this nice Easter, and then we went on this walk, and we started talking about some things. And then before I know it, I'm like, how did this happen? Like, you see this collision happen. You're like, I didn't even see that coming. You know what I mean? Like, I thought we were just having a discussion, but we talk everything through, and, we were able to talk it through. And I'm not even sure what I'm saying, except for the fact that my parenting style is like, to discover that, like, okay, if I fucked up or if I went too far, it's like, okay, let's talk about this. I'm sorry for, I didn't mean it to come across that way. Like, I can really kind of get into it and fall on the sword if I need to, because for me, keeping the close bond is the most important thing. It's not me being right. And so we do have that ability to talk through anything. And so I'm so grateful for that. But that passage really spoke to me, and your share did as well, Melina, because it's all coming together. And Nick, you talking about what you're dealing with your son is helpful to me because, it's like we don't always do it right, but we're doing the best we can. And thank God I'm doing this work to be the most present I can, to know that if something didn't go well, how can I do it better next time, or how can I repair it going forward? So hopefully that made sense. I feel like I was rambling. So
that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Michelle. Yeah. Oh,
thank you.
I love you guys so much. All right.
Now I'm on my way to see your wife shortly after I go to my walkthrough.
Excellent. Congratulations, Michelle. All right.
Thank you.
Big moment for her.
Thank
selling. So quick share before we go into the meditation. Please tell everybody what's happening for you Friday and today.
Yes. So Friday, Meg had a great idea of, getting some people together, which I was really loving. We went out for lunch to celebrate my closing. I'm closing on the purchase of the wanted to stay in Raleigh, but Newbury feels like Raleigh. So I love it just the same. It actually has a better resale value. So I'm excited about that. I bought a house for my nephews and I. And I'm super excited about it. I'm driving to the final walkthrough right now as we speak. And then 10 a.m. And then, I'm super excited. I'm excited to see it again. I just start visualizing myself there and, just moving on to the next thing. Got my house listed that will sell when it sells, and just moving forward. So I can't believe how fast, and just like crazy the changes I've been through over the last 2.5 years, with the work that I've been doing on myself. So it really is nice to be coming out of the other side. It's not perfect, but, it's leaps and bounds where I was when I started 2.5 years ago.
I would argue it is perfect. I would argue it is
That's
perfect.
True. That's true. It's perfectly imperfect. Yes.
For everyone just to kind of really feel and hear, from Michelle's perspective, she completely manifested this house. So didn't have any clue where she was going to move. Her brain acted up, really stressed out, very anxious. What's going to happen? She tried everything she could to try to make something happen and force something to happen that was never meant to happen. And all of a sudden, couldn't have happened any faster. The perfect house came up, the perfect place, felt good. The money, the numbers worked out perfectly, was able to get the loan because the numbers were working out perfectly. All of it happened completely perfectly because she put the intention in the universe. And then she gets to observe the mind going crazy about how, when, what's it going to happen? How's it going to be like? And then all of a sudden, it just happens.
Yeah. And my mother comes in and drops the mic. When I ever checked the listing date, I was like, oh, I wonder when that property was listed. It was listed on the day she died. And I wasn't even looking at properties because I was too busy being consumed with, oh my God, I knew that her impending passing was coming. So I certainly wasn't looking. But a couple of weeks later, I looked and I said, oh my God. She was just like, yeah, I'm leaving. And here's a house for you, honey. I love you. Still looking out for you. And to get accepted on my sister's birthday was the final nod. It's like, all right, these are things that I can't ignore or explain away, nor would I want to. So I just love how they continue to show off from the other side. It's amazing. Even when we're not trusting and we're all crazy, it's just when you step back, you're like, oh yeah, they had me the whole time. I just forgot I could take my hands off the wheel and actually, trust God, or the universe or whatever. So thank you for that.
That's the quotable for today. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle.
All
right, my folks, 9:38. For those of you still with us, we're just going to close with a little quick meditation. We'll make it a little quick this morning. So if you're not driving, you can close your eyes. If you are driving, please don't. We will start the day with a deep breath in and release. Feel that air filling up your lungs. Deep breath in and let it go. Reminding ourselves another beautiful week, a beautiful day, a beautiful life that we get to create today. All the roles and labels and masks that we wear, you get to take them all off today. Or maybe you pick one up and put one on to try it out. Reminding yourself that you're a divine creator and that your only job here is to better yourself and grow and expand through challenges, obstacles, and embracing discomfort. Remembering that all the loved ones that have passed from this planet have left a piece of them behind to make sure you are held, you are supported, you are being guided every single day. Remembering that you are more than enough, that there's nothing further for you to do to prove your own value, prove your own existence. If you did nothing else, because of your intentions and because of how pure you are, the universe will provide. Just like nature, just like the trees outside getting just enough water that they need, just enough sunlight, just enough wind, just enough of the cold to go into hibernation and to sleep and get deep rest. We come back out ready to grow, ready to have leaves, ready to grow fruit. Remembering we are cyclical creatures, loving all the sides of us, loving when we are feeling in this amazing mood, ready to conquer the world, and also loving the parts of us that are struggling, loving the parts of us that sometimes feel we're not enough. Meeting all of those parts with us with just deep love, deep appreciation, and deep gratitude. So let's move into this week as that divine creator, having the spirit, having a human experience, feeling in our bodies, feeling what it's like to get to do anything that we desire in this moment. Every passing moment is a chance to make a new decision, be a new you, a new identity that you declare, I am, using the words, the incantations, the blessings. I am whatever you decide. Let's move into the week with a powerful breath in and release. Big breath out. Ah. I love you all so much. Next 2 weeks, actually, I have a whole bunch of travel coming up. I've put out a note to my team to see if anyone wants to host these, but I will have recordings for you guys. So we'll have recordings that we'll put out in the WhatsApp group. If anybody does want to host the Zooms, they can play the recordings here. You guys can just meet as a community. But I'll be checking in. I'm heading to Punta Cana for a retreat next Monday, and then the weekend after that, or week after that, I'll be in cruise with my kids for April vacation. So lots going on. But I love you all, and I want to make sure you guys all still stay connected via the WhatsApp group. Some of you are in the Signal group, making sure that you have a place to get support, a place to share wins, a place to just share what decisions you're making in your life. Like, stay connected. So I love you all, and I'll see you in the WhatsApp group. I'll also take a picture of that passage because I think that's a good. I forget who asked me to do that, but I'll do that going forward. So love you all. Have a great week.